I am Bircan Ünver, a chair of the Outreach and Partnership Subcommittee at the Global NGO Executive Committee, GNEC. On behalf of the Outreach and Partnership Subcommittee, we would like to welcome each and every one of you. And welcome President of the GNEC and Senior Fellow at World Development Foundation, Patrick Shriarata. And to our co-host of the session 2, Ediola Pasholare, World Assembly of Youth. Along with, on behalf of the officers and directors of the GNEC, we would like to welcome to you all. And thank you for joining us today. With that, it is my great pleasure to invite President Patrick Shriarata to deliver his opening remarks. Welcome, and floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Birjan. And I want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope this will be the first in a series of informal briefings where we will do our small part to keep our community together and informed. I'm proud and humbled to be elected president to usher in the 60th anniversary of this storied organization. So honored, in fact, that I chose to miss my invitation back into the United Nations headquarters yesterday for the Town Hall for Civil Society offered by the President of the General Assembly. In fact, that signaled the soft reopening of headquarters after so long a time. But being here with you and rehearsing and preparing for this useful session today is my passion. I've been associated in one way or another with GNEC, formerly NGO DPI, for nearly 2 decades. 8 years of that time, as of 2022, will be on and off this illustrious board, with about 12 years as editor of the NGO Reporter. But throughout all my time working with so many amazing, talented, and dedicated colleagues, I've never known the board to be more laser focused on assisting the constituent community of UN-vetted NGOs whom we hope to serve. We recognize that many on our subscriber list who will join us here today are in fact not associated with UNDGC, and we heartily urge you to do so at this time. It's imperative that we all understand that civil society is one of the 3 important bases outlined in the United Nations Charter. The mission and staff garner power and funding from the member states. But it is civil society who are the change makers at UNHQ and worldwide. Our voices need to be among the strongest here, and GNEC hopes to help in that cause. We are here today to introduce ourselves and our programming to help the NGOs whom we hope to serve. Now, this morning, not all of our board will be present, nor all of the subcommittees able to be represented. In fact, we have a full board meeting following this session, and some of our members actually have jobs, so other work, etc. So some of them are also involved in subcommittees that only work behind the scenes. That said, we are grateful to our members and officers who are able to be with us today. We hope that they are informative and you find our work useful and engaging for your NGOs. In order to help introduce our board members present today and to discuss their work is a new member of the board, yet a longtime friend of mine, Ms. Ediola Pasholare. She is the Secretary General of the World Assembly of Youth. Ediola, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone, for your presence. So like Patrick mentioned, I'm the Secretary General of World Assembly of Youth, and I've been so for the past 10 years, even though I've been involved with WAY for more than 16 years. WAY is a coordinating body of national youth councils, and we represent 140 member countries. We work closely with different stakeholders, including United Nations, ministries of youth, national youth councils, regional organizations, private sectors. So pretty much all the stakeholders that need to tackle at least 21 youth issues that we tackle at WAY. So That's a brief introduction of what I do at WAY. But at the Global NGO Executive Committee, I'm also a director. And in order for me to continue my introduction, I have to start with Patrick, of course, because I know that he holds many hats. And one of them is that he's the senior fellow at the World Development Foundation. So Patrick, could you please share what do you do at that wonderful foundation?
Thank you. Not to take too much of time. In brief, I just want to say that the World Development Foundation, led by His Excellency Henry MacDonald of Suriname, was formed to identify support for and work on the production of major conferences and gatherings of all kinds, particularly at UN headquarters, in support of the Sustainable Development Goals, and especially in ways that entice corporations and other donors to contribute and sponsor work that illuminates and advances all aspects of sustainable growth throughout the world, and in the name of the UN and its Better World vision. I help in fundraising and preparing most of the conferences that we have done in the before times, and I look forward to working in that same capacity in the future while working alongside GNEC. Thanks for asking, Idiola.
Thank you, Patrick, for the introduction. Keep up the good work and good luck with the 2022 coming up. So we continue with the rest of the members. Allow me to introduce our Vice President, Nadine. Nadine, could you please share with us what is that you do beside being a Vice President at GNEC?
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Much gratitude for your presence here today. So I started out with GNEC as an ex officio youth chair, served a term as director, and now have the great privilege of serving as second vice president. I've served as an NGO youth representative to the UN for the last 6 years for Caring and Living with Neighbors, which is an Australia-based NGO dedicated to remedying health inequities for children living with non-communicable diseases in resource-poor settings across continents, as well as in Indigenous communities. Outside of my work with CLAN, the NGO, I started my own business called Conscious Consulting, focused on midwifing organizations through the just transition and transition towards a more sustainable future.
Wow, that's way too many hats. Congrats and best of luck to you. I was saying that the next person that I'm going to introduce is the other VP. Minnie, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Idiola, for introducing me. And as Idiola mentioned, and thank you, Patrick, for kicking this off with so much of energy. I would just like to say that it's so nice to see everybody here, and thank you so much for your time. We are all a team, and I represent American Medical Women's Association to the United Nations. We have been around for 106 years. I am not 106 years old. I'm a physician, professor, and my passion is, health and human rights. And this is great. I have been a UN representative for more than 22 years, and it's always so nice to even longer connect with everybody. And it's so nice to see all our youth involved. A big shout out to all our youth colleagues too, including my own daughter and the other friends she works with, under the umbrella of the UN DGC. And I would also like to give a shout out to Hawa, Swati, the current chair, Andy, and also our past big supporter, Ramu Damodaran, who recently retired, for all the incredible support they have given the NGO. So I think this is like really, really great, and look forward to working with all of you. And this is, as Patrick said, this is the first of many things. And, please reach us, contact us. We are available. And thank you, Adiola. I'm glad you're wearing red for healthy heart, because we all need to have healthy hearts as we are going into the season. And, best wishes to everybody for a healthy and happy season. And over to you, Adiola. And just before I would like to just say that we hope to pretty soon get back with an announcement on another program we are planning in December, along with the DGC. So GNEC and DGC. So please keep this posted. Keep your eyes and ears open for this. Thank you so much, Adiola. Back to you, my friend.
Thank you, Minnie. Indeed, health is the most important thing that keep us going, and I appreciate the work that you do. And of course, the good news, we can't wait to hear from your subcommittee. But before we go there, let me give the floor to Desiree, our other director, to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see your faces. And I'm so glad that everyone is participating in the chat and sharing where they're from. My name is Desiree Akavan, and as Idiola mentioned, I'm a director on the GNEC board. By day, I'm a lawyer and an entrepreneur and a consultant, but I was connected to GNEC through the Mona Foundation, of which I'm an advisory board member. And to share just a little bit about what Mona Foundation does, it's a global NGO that partners globally with grassroots education initiatives to alleviate poverty, to ultimately alleviate poverty by promoting universal education and gender equity. And there's also a special emphasis on character education training as well as service in order to better the world. Thanks, Idiola.
Thank you, Desiree, for your introduction. I really appreciate what you do. Keep up the good work. Allow me now to give the floor to Deborah, our director.
Thank you so much, Idiola.
Sorry, our secretary.
No problem.
Yes.
No problem. Thank you so much. And nice to see everybody. And my name is Deborah Boudreau. The foundation I represented is Buddhist Tzu Foundation. Is an interfaith, faith-based organization. And I'm very grateful that we have so many friends coming from so many different countries at this time. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are. GNEC welcome your participation and your engagement. Your voices represented NGO, INGO. United, we're working together. Please join with us whenever you can. When you stop by to New York, remember, say hi to every one of us. Welcome you to participate. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, Deborah, for the wonderful work that you do and for making our life a little bit easier at GNEC. Your work is very much appreciated. Now, allow me to give the floor to Kevin, our treasurer.
My name is Kevin Burgess. I'm the treasurer of the board, and I represent Rutgers Prep School in central New Jersey in the US. And during the last year or so, we've been developing the Innovation Academy to help support the NGOs and schools as they struggle to get information out during the pandemic and going forward after the pandemic. So we have the opportunity to share courses that way. And that's what I do. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate what you do. And I've noticed one thing, guys. I don't know whether you have paid attention, but it looks like our board is very gender balanced, right? And which I'm very honored to be part of this team. So allow me to introduce another wonderful lady, Sandra, another director of GNEC. The floor is yours.
Thank you. And hello, everyone. It's really great to get together. I hope we can do this periodically with all the NGO communities. I am a UN representative for the International Federation on Aging, which is an international NGO with members who are from academia, from government, individuals in about 80 countries who are focused on the world's population that is, as you know, aging rapidly, and also working with other generations to make sure that no one is left behind regardless of their age. So thanks, Idiola, and I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Sandra. So like I mentioned prior to introducing you, we are very much gender balanced, but at the same time, we are intergenerational. And we do tend to cross every border. So allow me to give the floor to our other director, Dace. The floor is yours.
Good morning, and thank you. My name is Dace Diarra. Was introduced to GNEC through OPPFI, All Farm Peace Foundation International. And our headquarters is in New York. We focus mainly on helping our brother women widows, and children all over the world to give them a second chance in life and become more productive, first for themselves, and play a role in the development of their communities. So we coach and educate them on different activities that help them to become independent. So at GNEC, I would like to really thank all of you for joining that. I am the chairperson of the Development and Fundraising Committee at the GNEC, and we focus more on providing new in-kind services to our global constituents. And beyond that, we are attempting to raise funds to support our continuous effort, plus having the ability to re-grant to worthy NGOs and their programs, administration and project support both. Thank you. So I represent the Olopan Peace Foundation International, basically. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dessa, for the introduction. Yes, I will give you the floor later on when it comes to subcommittee introduction. But before that, let us proceed with the next person who has made also a difference in our, I would say, family. Nadine, another director, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Iniola, and greetings, everyone. My name is Nadine Gracia, and I am a director on the GNEC, representing Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are an organization of college-educated women who are committed to the constructive development of our members and to public service, with a primary focus on the Black community. Our organization, our sorority, is more than 100 years old. We were established in 1913, and we focus on providing assistance and supporting local communities through established programs in areas that address our 5-point programmatic thrust, including economic development, educational development, physical and mental health, as well as other areas. We have over 1,000 chapters, collegiate and alumni chapters in the United States and around the world. And we also engage, in addition to our programs and service, in social action, where we drive and advocate for policy to support communities. And in particular, we host a conference annually during the UN annual session of the Commission on the Status of Women, called Delta Days at the United Nations. And I have the pleasure of serving as the co-chair of our UN NGO subcommittee on our National Social Action Commission. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today.
Thank you very much. Keep up the great work, and thank you for your contribution that you do to GNEC. Allow me to give the floor to Connie, another director at the GNEC.
Okay, good morning. I'm happy to be here and be joining with all of you. I'm Dr. Connie Silvan-Sensor. I'm a nurse and I'm a professor at Rutgers University in New Jersey, USA. I represent the League of Women Voters of the United States, and our main mission is making democracy work. This is not only about promoting democracy through voting, but concern for all human rights since the beginning days of the United Nations. This league has been involved since the beginning. We recently sent 12 representatives to COP26. So we've been very involved with climate action, and some of our other priority issues are gender equality, violence against women and girls, health and well-being, and quality education. And again, I'm happy that we're joining together as a community and a family this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie, for the introduction and the work that you do. Allow me to give the floor to Alexandra, another director at GNEC.
Hi, everyone. I don't know if you can see me. How are you all? Yes, I have been involved with the GNEC for a good few years now. I am a youth representative and youth advisor to the World Council of Peoples for the United Nations, which is a wonderful NGO that uses art and culture to facilitate the goals of the UN. I also am very proud to work with a company called Global Leaders Group, which is a thought leadership advisory service. And we do a lot to do with reputation building, relationship management, crisis, anything that you kind of need, we can serve you. But yes, so it's my absolute pleasure. I love being on this committee with such wonderful people doing some amazing things. So nice to meet you.
Thank you, Alex. Allow me to give the floor to Ola.
Welcome everyone to this special event, and thanks Adiola for this wonderful opportunity. My name is Ola Shubomi Iginla Aino. I represent Light Up Foundation as the Executive Director. The Light Up team has been working actively to inspire and empower young people internationally. We provide a range of tailored support, including counseling, training, mentoring, and other useful activities geared towards skill acquisition. For over 21 years, we have executed hundreds of projects, supported tens of thousands, and broken a world record with our BOW project, which is currently being used to project the UNCRC. Our projects are dedicated to strengthening local communities, creating opportunities, and tackling issues of disadvantage and exclusion. On this occasion, I represent GNEC, and I am very proud to be here and associated with this wonderful team of people. I hope that we would have the best from today's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Ola. We are proud to have you as well in our team. Thank you very much for what you do. Last but not least, of course, Birjan, another director of ours, very hardworking. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Adiola, for this giving opportunity, and President Patrick Girarta, as well as to all the directors and officers of the GNEC. Indeed, it is my great honor to be part of the GNEC, and I work hard to be elected, and I'd like to thank to everyone who supported me, who voted for me. Even I just said, okay, this is my last try. I won't try anymore, and I'm on this time, thanks to my all supporters. Now, since you know my name, my organization is the Light Millennium Charitable Global Human Advancement Organization, associated with the UN Department of Global Communications in 2005. By then, it was Department of Public Information. And I've been the head rep of the organization to the UN since then. Further, I am representative of the Assembly of Turkish American Association to the UNDGC, also ambassador of peace and goodwill for ANUVIPA, Anuvirat Global Organization to the UN. I am not listing this just kind of promotion, but I am listing this organization who supported me, who are also associated NGOs with the UNDGC and members of the GNEC. So I'd like to recognize them for their support. When it comes to the Light Millennium, its core visions are freedom of expression, fostering global connectivity, girls' women's rights, promoting intellectual productivity, and a participatory approach towards its publications and programs from all walks of life, although it's a volunteer base. So what we aim and vision, we've been dedicated, maybe we have accomplished 5–10% so far. And also along with, we aim to understand cultures and different traditions and different thinkings. And we are a secular and tax exempt organization and formed in New York, based in New York in 2001. Over the 2 decades, the LM has become a seeded global organization, and especially through the UN and NGO committee, really through the UN NGO conferences. I think we created great friendship collaborations over the years. It has become both a right and service-based organization. Now, that is our core mission, to serve under the Outreach Partnership Subcommittee. That will be later on. Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone who joined us, who supported us, and please reach us whenever any issue comes in connection with the UNDGC on behalf of GNEC. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Birjan, for the wonderful introduction and for telling us what you do back home and here as well internationally. Like Patrick mentioned earlier on, we have other directors as well that are part of the team, but some of them could not make it. However, they will have other opportunities to our events to introduce themselves. So I hope I have not missed everyone present in here, but to give you an idea what we do and who we are, and also to tell you guys how proud I am to be part of this amazing, hardworking team. Like you heard, all of them, they are holding a couple of hats, different responsibilities, different stakeholders from different backgrounds, completely different approaches, and a different level. So we are international, a global, literally a global team. But in order for us to function at GNEC, we each have responsibilities to be either part of a subcommittee or chair it or represent it. And in order for you to understand better what we do for all our members at GNEC, we have at least a couple of subcommittees. Allow me to start with the Strategic Planning and Development Subcommittee. And the representative that will be speaking and introducing that in further details will be Desiree. Desiree, the floor is yours.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Desiree, and I'm serving currently as the chair of the Strategic Planning Subcommittee. And as Patrick mentioned earlier, I think one of the distinguishing features of the current board is this reinvigoration and this laser focus after what we've all experienced in the world these past couple of years. And so we're really excited about all of the work ahead of us and collaborating with you. So one of our aims is to help strengthen civil society's communications as well as collaboration with the UNDGC. And to that end, we have adopted a strategic plan, and we've also created a strategic planning subcommittee, which is addressing some of the critical needs within GNEC as well as externally with the broader NGO community, and also aiming to create greater alignment with our mission. As an example, one of the things that we've done is consolidated our subcommittee structure. And we're also looking to implement tools that will enable the board to work more effectively as well as efficiently in service of the NGO community. While a significant focus of GNEC's previous work you may be familiar with has been organizing the annual Civil Society Conference with the UNDGC, we've been considering the demands of the changed reality over the past couple of years. And so we're making more of an effort to leverage technology to bring the NGO community together for various events such as this one, additional briefings and conferences, which you'll be hearing more about shortly. Our subcommittee is also regularly evaluating and reflecting to ensure our continued strategic alignment. We're also integrating feedback from the board, from the other committee chairs, as well as from the NGO community. So for example, you may have received the NGO surveys that we've been sending out. We are gathering information, we're reviewing the data, we're analyzing this, and then we're integrating the feedback back into our strategic planning process, whether that involves making an adjustment to the strategic plan, also providing high-level insight to the board itself to guide its work. Thanks, Idiola.
Thank you very much, Desiree, for the work that you do. Indeed, we need to strategize and plan accordingly in order for us to function and provide the best services out there. Another important pillar of our committee and our board is the Outreach and Partnership Subcommittee. Birjan, the floor is yours again.
Once again, thank you so much, Idiola. As first, I'd like to mention the members of the committee. As most of know by now, I'm the chair of the Outreach and Partnerships Subcommittee of the GNEC. And J. Nadine Gracia is the co-chair of this committee. Secretary is Robert, and Outreach Sabahattin Devecioğlu. Partnerships are Robert Kestan. You will hear later on from Robert Kestan and also Robert. And members are Ediola Pasholari and Alexandra Abrams. So with that brief introduction of each members of the committee, a little bit description of what we set out, or it will be developed in time and based on the experiences and feedbacks that we will be receiving, which is The Outreach Partnership Subcommittee's priority job is to reach out all the UN DGC associated NGOs. Currently, there are 1,547, engage those with the GNEC and DGC to create and provide opportunities to them in terms of visibility and or collaboration opportunities. Secondly, to become a guide to non-associated NGOs to encourage and guide them toward the application process for association. And thirdly, to create and expand partnership with the NGOs and GNEC to encourage them toward and or becoming a nominee with the ultimate goal to break the ISIS and change the paradigm from 3 to 10% up to, let's do all together, to 50% voting target by June 2023, by the time our term will be ended. So please help us to reach that goal all together. We can't do alone. We need all of you. And before going to survey, I'd like to call on our co-chair of the committee, Nadina Gracia, to speak a little bit about how we work together as a perfect teammate to disseminate 2 surveys by now with the strong support and encouragement by our President Patrick Sriarta. Nadine?
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. And yes, I echo the thanks and appreciation to the GNEC president, to Patrick, for your leadership. As Birjan is noting, one of the activities from the Outreach and Partnerships Committee has been really wanting to hear from all of you, specifically learning about the experiences you have had, certainly over the course of the global COVID-19 pandemic, to also understanding resources that may be useful to you so that we can also assure that we are providing resources that will be helpful to your NGOs, and learning about the priorities that you have so that we can uplift as well engagements and activities that you have underway. So there was a survey that we disseminated to get that initial round of feedback, and are looking forward to continuing to engaging with all of you to hear more from you and really assure that the GNEC is responsive to your interests and responsive to the resources and services that we can best provide to you. Birjan, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Nadine. It's a great entry for what I'm going to say next. Please check your emails, spam, junk box. If you have received survey, it might be end up your spam or junk. If you have received, and please open it up, not just open it up, please click on the let's go to the survey. We aim to reach out all 5,000 subscribers in the NGO reporter list, and we like to make sure each of you receive and open it up and click on the survey, read through 8 questions, and all are relevant to you. And if you have question, concern, please let us know. This is a 2-way communication, not 1 way. This is what we like to really build a bridge in between each NGOs and everyone and the GNEC and the DGC, so we can be more powerful, unified at the UN in terms of NGO family. So going back to specifically to the survey, if you haven't received, please let us know, info@gnec@ngo or outreachchair@gnec.ngo. I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat again. info@gnec.ngo or outreachchair@gnec.ngo. So we like to make sure you open it up, and if you have any question and concern, please let us know. So I'd like to bring out 3 points. One is we really like to find out what are your favorite UN days, UN years, UN campaigns, UN decades. So you will find I guarantee you, you will find many, more than one, many programs, many UN days that are very related in correlation with your NGOs, with what you do. So try to link with us that we can develop something further based on what you do. And the second, of course, equally important, sustainable development goals. We have now 9 years to go, and unfortunately, things going backward in terms of the attaining the SDGs. So please let us know where are you, what you do, or which areas on the SDGs you are working on. And as a third point, we like to encourage who are not associated with the UNDGC yet to start association process. You may not know the link or who to contact. That's why we are here. So please reach out to us if you don't have any idea where to start, or if you need anywhere in the application process a guidance. Again, we are here. So please reach out us and visit our website. Again, www.gnec.ngo. And once again, my email is outreachchair@gnec.ngo. Thank you so much for your attention. Looking forward to working with you and communicating with all of you. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
listening.
Birjan. Thank you for the work you do. So in order for us to build partnership, we need to reach out and communicate with the team. But we also do organize events and activities. And in order for those to carry forward, that's a subcommittee that actually 2 of them that have recently joined. It's the briefing and conference subcommittee. So for that will be an introduction by Nadine and Sandra, I was told. So the floor is yours, ladies.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, as Idiola shared, in addition to my capacity as second vice president, I'm also co-chair of the current briefing subcommittee. So we've been working in coordination with the conferences subcommittee, which we'll be merging with, to put together a series of events engaging with you, the NGO community. We hope to actively engage with NGOs and to create briefing and conference programming that's resonant with your objectives and priorities. We're currently in the midst of launching a 2-year series of briefings, workshops, and conferences commencing in November 2021 through June 2023. It will be announced later on with dates and topics and in early September. Attendance at each will be a hybrid of in-person and virtual and free to all. In thinking about the SDGs, we hope to explore topics that are cross-cutting and are at the intersections of multiple SDGs, both in the scopes of challenges and solutions. GNEC is extraordinarily unique in that we have a dedicated focus on youth and intergenerational partnership across program areas, as our board has grown to become a true embodiment of what intergenerational partnership looks like in action. And over the course of the pandemic, NGOs far from the physical space of the UN have had unprecedented access to virtual UN events. Yet, to quote the musical Hamilton, NGOs are further than ever from the room where it happens, from the spaces where key decisions impacting nation states and civil society are being made, as clearly exhibited in COP26 proceedings. So in creating programming, it's imperative that NGO-led and focused briefings and conferences continue to grow rather than shrink. That being said, we're co-hosting an event with UNDGC on December 9th. The time is still to be determined, but that event will focus on this very subject of the shrinking space for NGOs, and we really hope you can attend. In the coming months, we're developing a podcast that I will be hosting alongside a few of my esteemed colleagues, so we can work to tell your stories and share them with the world. Additionally, over the next few months, we hope to create a space for NGOs to collaborate and connect in real time as a community. So please stay tuned for updates on this transformative way of connecting our community together. Thank you, and over to Sandra and Minnie.
Hey, hi, everybody, again. Just to reiterate what Nadine said, it's our hope with these briefings that we can engage the NGO community on issues that affect us all. And as Nadine mentioned, December 9th, I hope you mark your calendar. We have to pick the time, but it will be an opportunity for you to meet the new team that is the civil society team from the UN Department of Global Communications, formerly DPI, and to hear from them about what their plans are for the future and how they hope to work with the NGO community. And we are going to address, I think, a topic that we all are concerned about, all of the NGOs. How do we gain greater access to the UN and make a difference to people all over the world about our issues and about our common issues? And so we will be having a speaker talking about the shrinking space for the NGOs, as well as some experiences from other NGOs. And we'd like to make it interactive. So this is our first. We look forward to having Andy Gittow, who is Chief of NGO Relations, Advocacies, and Special Events at the Department of Global Communications, and perhaps the Director of Outreach as well as the rest of us, to sort of reflect back on where we've been through this pandemic and what we can look forward to. I frankly feel a new invigoration with GNEC. It's only going to be as good as the rest of you joining with us. And we are in the process with this wonderful team of figuring out how to address your issues and getting feedback so we can involve you to a greater degree in our committee work and also our collaboration. One other thing that Patrick wanted me to mention is that the UN is going to be open to civil society on a case-by-case basis until the end of the year, which is almost upon us. But starting in January, we are able to get our grounds passes for those who are accredited with the Department of Global Communications. So we'll do a hybrid, but we hope to also see your faces in person, which would be delightful from my point of view. I think we're getting zoomed out. So it's wonderful that we can have people all over the world, but I can't wait to actually have a face-to-face conversation with so many of you. So thanks.
Indeed, that's very wonderful to hear. And of course, we are going to finally meet, hopefully together soon. But in order to hear more about the activities, I was told that Minnie also is going to introduce about it. Minnie, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, considering like I'm supposed to be co-chairing this thing along about the upcoming meeting, I have already reached out to Hava, and we are waiting for GNEC, for DGC to confirm what we can do. And as was stated by Sandra and Nadine, we are really looking forward to it. We still don't have confirmation of who is going to be speaking from the DGC side. So that's why we have not sent out anything, but please, colleagues, please be assured that we are working to get this going, and hopefully this should be on 9th of December, which is right before Human Rights Day. So that is really very good if that happens. But please, as I said, watch the space for you to get more information regarding this. And if there are any changes, you will also be notified. On another note, what I have heard, yes, we are all excited. And the PGA yesterday, some of us were there in person, some of us were there watching the town hall with the NGOs in online. It was really nice to see the PGA being so receptive to the NGOs. But a word of caution, I guess, putting my public health hat on and my physician hat on, I'm on a number of these committees. So anything will be based on what the mandates are, depending on the number of cases. For example, the US again hit a high, New York, we hit a high. So hopefully if we are at a plateau, we don't peak again, yes, we can all go to the UN and meet in person. So I would suggest we have to be cautiously optimistic, not to throw a spanner into the works, but being a realist. But meanwhile, please be assured that as GNEC, we are working for all of you, working with you, for you, to promote our, what shall I say, hopes and ambitions, and what our basically goals are, so that we are given more space at the UN. So please watch the space, and thank you again. So back to you, Idiola, and I hope you do see, because sometimes I put my hand up. I know you have a lot on your plate. You're juggling so many screens. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Minnie, for the introduction of the upcoming activities. And of course, I reiterate, everyone, please be safe out there. We are still not out of the woods. We have to be careful and protect each other. So another person that will be speaking about the subcommittee of fundraising and development is Dase. Please, guys, we need to keep it a little bit short because we need to have a lot of things to follow in the agenda. Floor is yours, Dase.
Thank you. Thank you again for your time and expressing your interest in what we do here. I chair the development and fundraising subcommittee, as I said before, and we are 3 members on that subcommittee. President Patrick, who is ex-officio member, and Ambassador Ola, who is with me, and myself. So our subcommittee has been focused on providing new in-kind services to our global constituents. Beyond that, we are attempting to raise funds to support our continuous effort, plus having the ability to re-grant to worthy NGOs and their programs, such as the administration and the project support. So also I would like to brief a little bit about what we have done so far. President Patrick and I have been meeting and discussing these plans to raise funds to support our free services and possibly to re-grant some money to our constituent NGOs. We know that everybody is really going through some situations right now. So through this, I've been learning a lot. So is Patrick. And we have recently met with a tactical development company handling all aspects of donor funding. They claim to help prepare and follow up pitches or meetings with high net worth individuals with interest in the United Nations. So that firm was introduced to us through a member of our advisory board named Lance Gold. He's a former editor at Huffington Post, currently CEO of Brooklyn Story Lab. So this firm and Brooklyn Story Lab have worked together to tell stories through video content as means of developing long-term major funders from a wide variety of sources. Combined, they have access to major clients and may help us help many more than we have ever helped in previous years. They could also help build a number of associated organizations, which could also be good for UNDGC. We are also speaking with 2 independent fundraisers who have helped raise funds for us in the past. So lastly, the Emerging Market Foundation, which is in New York and Hong Kong, have put out an effort to an offer for leadership of a consultant fundraising for local nonprofit in East and Northeast Asia called e-Empower. So e-Empower has been created to assist their granted partners in East and Northeast and Southeast Asia. It is a virtual consultancy conducted in English that we can attend. So we have requested they consider using the Innovation Academy, that program we have, to host the consultancy for free. In return, we have asked them to coach all participants on how to apply for UNDGC association and to provide GNEC with generous donations as well. So we hope more of these opportunities are carried further. And thank you for your attention. We look forward to a new good things in the horizon. Thank you. And also I'm providing my email for, I will just put my email in the chat. It's for the fundraising and development.
Please do
Thank you.
so everyone can reach out. Like Patrick written just now in the chat, we are actually really running out of time, and there is so many subcommittees that wants to speak about the progress of work they have done for the past couple of months. And maybe we should have a second edition or a third edition to see how we have progressed and we are going to progress in the future. But another good thing I would say that has come out of this couple of months is the new website. So in order for you to have a look at it, we will call back Patrick to highlight the new services that we offer via this new website. So Patrick, the floor is yours.
You can see our new address is very simple. It's gnec.ngo. It's also gnec.ong for those in Francophone regions. We have both websites. This is just been launched today. And as you can see, this lovely little front here was done, I believe, by somebody who's on, Christina. Thank you, Christina. Our mission statement has been slightly altered from what was on before. And instead of focusing on who we are, we've decided to focus more on the services that we offer. Obviously, the civil society conferences that many of you know, they're really wonderful, and we talk a little bit about them here. And then we do the same with workshops. Our workshops have been a high point of our work together. We ask you to go through the whole site because we're not going to have time to really go through it. I believe Scott's on the line with us today. Some UN relationships, some work with leadership. As some of you know, I brought Ahmed Al-Handawi to Youth Assembly after Elaine left. Elaine is on here, Elaine Valdov, and I created the Youth Assembly. Ahmed had never been to the UN, and eventually he became our first UN envoy to the Secretary General. We're going to highlight going forward NGOs who are associated with us. This is a brand new NGO, and maybe it's appropriate that we're highlighting Kid Spirit as we start something brand new. You can read more about them here. Here we just have photos in the beginning of a gallery. There's Ice Shoes, there's Minnie's daughter. Then if you go further, you'll see there are messages from the president, who we are, which might be important. We're going to expand this and actually have photos here. So you'll see a little bit more about who we are. These are the officers. These are the members or the directors themselves. And I find this really exciting. We have put together an advisory board. We have 2 ambassadors on the board already. And I believe that our pro bono attorney, Aaron Etra, is with us online here today, and we're very grateful for that. You'll see some of the other folks who are on the board already, and we are moving to enlarge this board as we speak. And we thank all of our advisors for being so helpful, kind, and generous to be with us. You can learn more about us through the bylaws and procedures. They're listed there. All of the subcommittees are listed. We're going to continue to develop this so that we have everybody's emails and a little bit about them. That's not there yet. It's just naming them at this point. And some of them who aren't here, as you can see, are more background oriented. And that's why, as we're running late, we decided not to bring everyone in. The services and events page is focusing on what we can offer. I did ask Kevin to come on, as Kevin Merges brought us the International, or the Innovation Academy, I should say. And the Innovation Academy has been developed as a partnership with Rutgers Prep for the GNEC by Rose Cottarelli and Kevin Merges. And they have been active in making this a success already. And we hope to link up with the SDG Academy and with others to continue to move forward on this. You're seeing the website now, and the website is going to, as Nadine Compton mentioned, include a working space for NGOs going forward. We are offering our Zoom account as needed, and that's what Robert is with us. Robert from the African Youth Movement is on with us to discuss. He actually used the Zoom account in order to present a workshop with the Nigerian government that was very successful. So it was a public-private partnership. It was a successful use of our Zoom for free. And then, of course, many of you know the NGO Reporter, which I've been the editor of for over 12 years. We'd like to move that on. Ola and I are beginning to create a request for a new editor, and we hope to have that in full swing within a month. And if you know anyone who has ties to the UN, understands our situation, and could be an editor after 13 long years, I'd like to let that hat move on. These are some of the additional upcoming events that we're going to have in December, and these will be populated going forward. The NGO Reporter, you know, the elections is mainly FAQs right now. I believe the elections will move away from e-ballot in our near future, as Constant Contact seems to be able to have some of the exact same capabilities as e-ballot, and it will be able to save the organization a tremendous amount of money. The gallery itself, we ask everyone who's on this call to help us add to this gallery because it's brand new for us. We have just put photos and videos. Bill Hunter brought us this from Lehigh University. I know that Bill's with us right now. We'd love to have more videos. We'd love to have more pictures from our past. Alexa, your leader is just cropped off the side of this. We'll have to fix that. There's Elaine Valdov right now. And so there are some pictures. We'd love to have a million more. Let's leave it there. I'll just say that we are on Twitter and Instagram. Our donate page here highlights a donation that was made during the Korean UN conference. Jeff Brez and Scott Carlin teamed up with Christina and our World Development Foundation to purchase a piece of art that unfortunately you can't really see there, but you can donate. We're connected to PayPal, and you can also donate here. So let me leave it there. Thank you very much for allowing me to share that. But if I can we take a moment to ask Robert, who's on from Africa? I know this is late there, and he's taken some real time to be with us. Just to say a few words, Robert, on the value added that we brought to your organization by giving the Zoom. Robert, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, GNEC. Thank you, Patrick, and your team. It's been very exciting, right from the days we worked together as executive committee members. And I volunteer with the African Youth Movement, an organization I was part and instrumental in forming. And I've tried to help them to put up some programs, and one of which was on the 13th of October, which was the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. That event really, really showed us the power of networking. And prior to that, we had to rely on GNEC, on the tools, particularly the Zoom. We had a lot of government functionaries on board, and we had a lot of people who were very excited at the smooth way the event was held. Now, prior to that event, sometimes in 2020, when we had the coronavirus, the GNEC also with Scott Carlin then helped us through the Zoom, and we hosted a webinar on putting West Africa together, civil society together to handle the pandemic. So I want to encourage everyone here now to avail themselves of the useful tools that GNEC offers. Indeed, Patrick and his team have taken it to a brand new, exciting level. These tools will help NGOs to communicate, to bridge the gap, and reach out to more and more and more people. So I'm very excited. I'm very happy to share this news with you. And I want to encourage you, Patrick, and your team to keep up with this good work and find us as willing allies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Robert, for the work that you do, and we wish you success with the rest of it. We'll definitely be here to assist you as much as we can and the rest of our members. But we all know that human rights are universal, and every person around the world deserves to be treated with dignity and equality. That said, our colleague Robert will be speaking more, another Robert, will be speaking more about the 75th anniversary of Human Rights Declaration. But prior to that, we have a special treat, a video from the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. Bishan, would you please assist me to play the video for everyone?
The COVID-19 pandemic has reinforced
I mean,
two
you can
fundamental
increase your
truths
volume now.
about human rights.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
First, human rights violations harm us all. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a disproportionate impact on vulnerable groups, including frontline workers, people with disabilities, older people, women and girls, and minorities. It has thrived because poverty, inequality, discrimination, the destruction of our natural environment, and other human rights failures have created enormous fragilities in our societies. At the same time, the pandemic is undermining human rights by providing a pretext for heavy-handed security responses and repressive measures that curtail civic space and media freedom. The second truth highlighted by the pandemic is that human rights are universal and protect us all. An effective response to the pandemic must be based on solidarity and cooperation. Divisive approaches, authoritarianism, and nationalism make no sense against a global threat. People and their rights must be front and center of response and recovery. We need universal rights-based frameworks like health coverage for all to beat this pandemic and protect us for the future. My call to action for human rights spells out the central role of human rights in crisis response, gender equality, public participation, climate justice, and sustainable development. On Human Rights Day and every day, let's resolve to act collectively, with human rights front and center, to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and build a better future for all.
Like the Secretary General say, human rights protect us all. Does it? It should, in theory. And that is why Robert Kesten is going to speak further in details about the 75th anniversary campaign of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Robert, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I know it's been a long morning, so I'll be as brief as I can. Our organization, PDHRE, now combined with other organizations, is the organization that brought about the UN Decade on Human Rights Education, and then the Year of Human Rights Learning. So we are familiar with what we've learned and what we haven't learned on human rights, not only at the UN, but around the world. And with that in mind, it is alarming in some sense to realize that on December 10th, the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights will be 73 years old. And it is probably the best kept secret on the planet, since so few people have read it, know that it exists, or have taken personal ownership of their inalienable rights that were gifted when this document was adopted by every single member state that formed the United Nations. This document was a response to the Second World War and the Holocaust, and a tool for us to have the language we need to live in complex societies, even with people we vehemently disagree with. So our goal by December 10th, 2023, the 75th anniversary, is not only to celebrate with events around the world, but also to reach 1 billion people that have not been exposed to the Declaration itself. That is also the kickoff date for 2048, which will be the 100th anniversary, where we hope to reach all 8 billion plus people on the planet, making this the largest civil society effort in history. I have put some information in the chat box, so you can join us. You can certainly email me if you're interested in participating. We are going after the unconverted. We are going after those who don't think of human rights as a viable solution to world problems. It is the very foundation that allows human dignity to exist and for us to live as human beings on this planet. The one thing that's also important to note is that democracy and human rights go hand in hand. And as democracies falter around the world, human rights goes with it. That's not to say that all democracies respect human rights or all human rights, but you have a much better survival rate in a democracy than you do in a dictatorship. There is not one nation on the planet that is safe from the underpinnings of dictatorship that is spreading across the world. Human rights is at risk unless we stand up, unless we as individuals claim those human rights, because those human rights belong to us. They do not belong to government. They do not belong to the law. They do not belong to businesses. They belong to each of us as individuals. Everyone is born free and equal. It doesn't say every government is born free and equal. It doesn't say every corporation is born free and equal. It's every human being is born free and equal. And when we claim human rights as our own, when we make them ours, we then can hold government responsible to protect and defend them. Without that relationship, government continues to ask us to sacrifice our human rights, our universal rights, our inalienable rights for a false sense of security. We will never have security without human rights. We will never have sustainable development without human rights. So I ask you to join me, our organization, the organizations that we're working with, and make 2022, 2023, and 2048 seminal moments in time in human history. If not, the environment and democracy will all perish, and it will be our own faults for not engaging and doing all we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Robert. Like everyone, like you heard it, Robert said, claim your human right, educate yourself, educate your peers and your community. You shouldn't stop right there. And in order for us to further educate ourselves on human rights, we have another video message from the UN Ambassador for Peace, Angelina Jolie.
All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. That is the message of the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Declaration is a guide to the rights each of us is entitled to, and the protections that no government has the right to take away. It sets out our right to freedom and equality and justice, regardless of sex, race, language, religion, or social standing. It includes our right to be protected against torture, discrimination, persecution, and slavery. It says each and every one of us has the right to think freely or change our religion, and that we have the right to vote in the affairs of our country. 70 years after the Declaration was adopted, some countries have come further than others. We cannot be indifferent to the fate of people affected by conflict and oppression anywhere. We must hold all governments to the basic, non-negotiable standards set out in the UN Universal Declaration on Human Rights that apply to all people, in all places, at all times. There is still no more powerful or revolutionary idea than the principle that we are all born equal. We are all equal. There is no power on earth that has the right to tell us otherwise, and no more important cause than to defend the fundamental human rights of our fellow men and women.
Yes, indeed, we are all equal and we all have our rights, and we have the right to speak them out and everyone to be heard at the table. I thank you everyone for today. It has been a great journey, even though we pass our time. But you know, when it comes to speaking for something that you love, you don't realize how fast the time passes. With that, I have the honor to ask and request our president, Patrick, to provide the closing remarks.
Thank you, Idiola. We know how valuable your time is. Every one of us involved in NGOs So I apologize for going over. I think it was interesting information. Thank you for staying with us, and I'll try to be brief in my closing. And by the way, keep an eye out for the survey we sent. We hope to follow that up with some survey results and a new one in coming weeks. And don't forget to attend our first formal briefing with UNDGC and all of you on December 9th. And for the main purpose of this get-together, be sure to follow up with us on the free services and promotional opportunities we offer now, and look out for more, like the podcast that Nadine mentioned, with associated NGOs being interviewed coming in February, and even some grants, some re-grant funding whenever the new donors may arrive. So on behalf of everyone on and working with this board, I thank you. We look forward to meeting you as UN headquarters begins to reopen this winter, and hope to be of increased service to you as we grow into our roles. Warm regards to everyone, and have a happy, successful day to you all. Thank you. Thanks so much for being with us. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's have the gallery view. I'll try one more.